guess how close were you to being back against Stanford? I guess what percentage would you say you actually were against Florida State?
As far as Stanford, I feel like I probably could have got out there and probably done a little bit against Stanford, but it wasn't really any point because there was a kind of a big risk of me probably getting re-injured. You know what I'm saying? It's a long season, and you just kind of got to weigh out the options. We got a lot of guys that we trust in the defensive end room, as you've seen, that they can just like come in and get the job done, whenever. So it wasn't really a rush. I just wanted to get back to Florida State where I felt like I could actually like contribute and help and be a part of the team's win.
Do you feel like you were right back in, or was there a little bit of rust you had to knock off, or kind of what was it like?
No, for sure. In the FSU game, I definitely kind of had to work through a couple cobwebs and stuff like that, and I needed that game. I needed to do that to see like where I was at, and I think I would say Monday was one of the first times that I felt like me, this past Monday. So that feels good, and that's kind of attributed to actually going in there and playing football a little bit Saturday.
Was the FSU game kind of always a target date, or was it just day to day, as Coach Sweeney says?
It was day to day, just handling my injury day to day from a Coach Sweeney and medical staff training thing. But in my head, FSU was kind of that game when I was like I want to be back. If I can and I feel like I can play, then it was just kind of one of those things that FSU was always in my head, but nothing like official. Like that's when I was gonna be back.
You mentioned some of the other guys stepping up. How happy were you kind of see like Jaheim, Cade down kind of step in and kind of show out why you were out?
Yeah, I was really happy. I was probably one of the happiest guys, just watching them go out there and do what I've been seeing them really do all fall camp, all season. And, with just so many great guys, on that front and in that room, sometimes you don't always get to see that on full display. But I'm just happy that y'all saw what I've been seeing for going on a year now. And Jaheim and Cade and A.J. Hoffler and some of those guys that had a chance to get in there and actually play meaningful reps.
It's Jaheim, you've only been here a couple of years, but how much have you seen him just grow from what he was last year to what he is now? Be able to hold an edge versus the runs.
I mean, yeah, being able to hold an edge versus run. Obviously, he's been in the weight room with us, and you've seen he's one of the strongest guys on the team from a lower body standpoint, just now up to date. And but just from a mental aspect and just kind of a maturity thing, just him having another year under his belt, being able to kind of grow up in the system, and that's always important for a defensive player, kind of knowing what you're doing, and from just handling his off season with complete maturity, and he's learning how to be a pro early, and so that's starting to benefit him.
What was it like to go through this time away from the field? Have you experienced long spurts? I know this wasn't that long, but I imagine it felt long. It felt like we haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, it felt like forever.
Yeah.
But,
what was it like to go through that? Have you ever experienced that, and how did you navigate it?
I actually did experience something like that a little bit in high school. I had an injury in my sophomore year of high school that kind of took me out for almost the whole season of high school. So I kind of had to assume kind of that player leader who's not really playing role. And I had my trial run in high school, and it was a little rough for me, which kind of made this run a little better. Watching other guys, play the game that you love, it's never easy. But man, it was fun to watch them handle business and just kind of see it, just step back and see it from the point of view, just how much better we've gotten and how we play as a team complementary. So that was great, and it just made me all the more excited just to get back in the fold.
You come off as certainly a confident young man, but what's it like to find your voice and that leadership voice when still being incredibly young in a program like this and being out and having kind of that leadership coaching side of everything?
I just feel like it's kind of a natural thing, I don't really think leadership is, age or a title. It's action and responsibility. That's what Coach Easton tells us all the time. And so that's just kind of a thing that we've taken, across all position groups. It's not just me, it's other guys who are my age and maybe even younger than me who take leadership roles. And leadership looks different. Some guys are super vocal. Some guys are just, leading by example. I feel like everybody just takes a role in different ways that they can lead, and that just kind of makes everybody push up towards the top.
You bring up that time in high school where I was talking to your dad, and he was telling me about you would be waiting on you for an hour after practice because you were just in there, you're coaching up other guys. how'd you become comfortable like doing that even in high school?
That was just kind of something I would say that was in me, but really my high school coach, Woodrow Briggs, I give him a lot of credit for that. He kind of sat me down, you know, when he kind of felt like, you know, I was ready to hear the fact that, you know, you're getting better by yourself. And he said, what the next step for you is going to be this year. This might have been my sophomore, junior year after my injury. He used to tell me that the next step for me this year was going to be how many people can you bring with you. And so I think that's just something that has kind of stuck with me. You know, I know that I'm going to get better. I know my work ethic, and I know kind of my morals and, you know, the standard that I try to uphold for myself. But am I going to make that a group standard? Am I going to make that a team standard? How many people can I get to uphold that standard at a high level of consistency? And that's just something that I've kind of taken with me, you know, really in everything, but in college football.
Did you feel comfortable doing that like the minute you arrived as a freshman, or did it take like a little bit of time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I did, but I think it kind of started with, like I said, there's different ways of leadership, and I think that I definitely started as a guy who was just trying to be the example. I didn't really say too much, you know, I kind of grew into that, but you know, just trying to be the example with my actions, and that's just kind of where it started. I feel like that's where a lot of guys can contribute more than they think. A lot of younger guys can contribute more than they think they probably can. If you think you can't lead, all you got to do is just be the person who looks like they're doing it the hardest, doing it the best, with the most consistency, and you don't even know how you're making the people around you better because you're making them want to be better. That's just it's kind of like competition and stuff, like in rooms and stuff, makes a room better as a whole.
You said that you took things that were hard from your sophomore year of high school that were better this time. Are there any examples of areas you feel like you handled better, or ways that you approach things differently?
Just maintaining a positive mindset throughout the whole, you know, time being out. You know, I love this game. I love football. I don't want to be away from it, and that's probably the hardest part of just dealing with injury, just knowing, you know, if I played in this game, I might have. But, you know, and also staying locked into the game plan and staying in tune with, you know, what's going on with everything besides the physical aspect of playing football. So even the games that I wasn't playing, I was locked into the game plan like I was running out there first that game. And that just kind of helped me just fall right into FSU and now into Wake Forest week. I felt like I am missing beats.
How difficult is that Wake Forest game to kind of game plan for us with the mesh and the way they run it?
Definitely, they have a great scheme at Wake Forest with the slow mesh. I think that, you know, we just got to play our keys and have great eye discipline. And I think that, you know, dealing with all schemes, there's always a counter scheme to all schemes. So if we play our scheme with 100% consistency and confidence, then we shouldn't have a problem.
Any questions for Peter from Zoom? Anyone else in the room? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.